output argument, the, since you don't define the output argument here, you can define the data type of the output argument here. Let's list of employee, right? So we should so this is the, so it should be returning returning the list of employee. So the default name of the output uh, would be output, and then you can say this is a list of employee. So your employee class should be here, right? And it should be a list of employee. Okay. Just a quick recap. From this low-code workflow, we're calling from this coded work, we're calling the read input Excel. So that is a low-code workflow that will read the Excel file using data table output on the list of employee, and then it will call this coded workflow again to do the conversion of the, let's say, the string of employee data table. Let's say it can be the data table itself, but let's say we're converting. Let's say we're converting this into a string, because I it seems there are some bugs or issues when directly passing in reference types from a coded to low code. So that's why this is the one that I think that I tested. It works. So DT text, right? And then this is what you will feed here. The emp DT string, DT text, and as you can see, this is the input and this is the output. Should correspond to what is in here. And then again here, let's see what the autopilot can generate for us in terms of how to convert um, this empty string, which is a comma separated uh, comma separated values, right? So by just saying like from the input empty, I'll just copy whatever I have here. This is from the input empty string, create a code to convert this string to employee class, given employee class has properties of first name, last name, address, and the empty string is comma separated values of three different values. So let's try to do code generation again. So for those of you who are familiar with already using VS Code or C Sharp or Visual Studio, it's not really a code completion type of assistant or copilot yet. So you have to highlight the code and generate code, and this generates it for you, right? So it creates the list of employee. It splits it splits the employee empty string first. It creates a list of employee placeholder variable, and then for each employee data, it splits further with the of course you need to further like optimize this and then make sure it works for your particular data, right? So this will serve as a base when creating the different workflows that you have, right? So let me just have this, right? So let's say you have this same thing. So I generated the code and then just check it and then tested it and then returns the employees and employee count as well. So this is the same workflow. I'll just run this. Uh, what I just added here, if you can see here, hold on. So I open the website, right? Oh, not this one. Sorry. So in this case, I have my challenge Excel file, and I pull in the low code input Excel where I feed in the file path, and then I get the result employee list of type list of employee, right? And then this is the one that I did earlier. I opened, and then um, from the each of the employee. Now this is not a data table. This is a list of employee object based on the source file that I created, employee, right? Converted from the data table um, when I called it in here. And I just iterate through that, and then for those employee lists, I get the property name so that I will know if it's a first name, last name, etc., role, address, and then it will type into the that particular uh, object in object repository, right? So this is just typing into that and using the Excel file as an input, right? So running um, this will use hardware events as a default, and I will show you after this how you can update or modify so that using coded automation, how it can do like the simulate option. Oh, it's it's in the other screen. How you can do the simulate option. And yeah, as you can see, it's typing. It works. It's reading. It reads from the Excel file. But how do you do the simulate? Let's say, or the click Windows or Chromium API, right? So it's just as easy as remember the overload method that I mentioned for the type into that you saw, where you can put in a target as a string and then text. You can also do um, like the interaction mode uh, or type into options, as you can see here.
You need to
So
change that.
what you can do now is you can define a type into options variable or object, right? And then this type into options have different properties that lets you modify the behavior or interaction mode, or if you want to empty the field. So this is where you can update the properties similar to the low code, how you can update the activity, type into activity from the properties itself, right? So in this case, what I did is on the text that I will go and that's going to type the property value, of course, the value of the employee object, current object, and then the interaction mode would be the Chrome API, or you can also do background, right? Or which is Chromium API, right? And you should cast it. If I don't have this cast, so it will say I will have an error. Cannot convert an interaction mode to n child interaction mode. So you have to explicitly cast it n child interaction mode, and then when you run this, So this will do the same way as you would update the type into activities um, as simulate, or it's like pasting, as you can see here. It's a it's a background, or Chromium API, right? Yeah. So that's I've covered interoperability, how you can pass variables into a low code, get it from a low code into a coded, and how the input properties should match, right? How you can pass in into a coded, and pull from a low code. So this is interoperability. And now let's talk about other services. In this case, I built a custom service, but when I say service, I mentioned about UI automation, one of the service. Also mentioned about systems. So these are basically the default activity packages that are available, so that you just have to type in UI automation and you have all these activities open, attached, and then once you have the attached to the screen, you can type into, you can click, you can do all sorts of UI automation stuff that is in the package. Similarly to with the system, you have add queue item, add transaction item. For testing, you have this different. So these are packages. This package are registered as a service, right? But what if you want to create a new service, um, and so that you can use it like how you use the UI automation, how you use the system, and the other service that's available as default, right? So in this example, I created this OpenAI service, but what is the reason that I would create this separate OpenAI service if in low code I already have, let's say, the this generate completion, right? So let's see, what are the instances that you would need to create your own service interacting with the similar services, right? So in this particular example, I have a three, I have this OpenAI technical paper, which is around more than, let's say, I think 200 or 300 pages long. And this can be any type of process, whether it's a web page, whether it's a track, or a document, or your knowledge base, database. I want to summarize this, and I don't want to leave out any data or details, because another way you could do it with using the default activity that UiPath has is using like retrieval augmented generation, but that's a more complex topic where you do semantic search. But I want to just feed this whole document, right? Um, but if I do that, let's just run this. So it reads a PDF text, and points out the number of characters right here. And what will happen if I just feed this all into the generate chat completion? And this only uses, I think the only available models here is until GPT-4 for June version. And recently, OpenAI has released the November version, the latest one. And that latest one has more than 128, around 128K context window. That means this error that says too large for GPT-4 won't be an issue for that new model, because but then this activity won't be able to handle, because as I said, it's GPT 3.5 turbo, or the previous version. So in this case, I'm going to do a coded automation and create a service for that new version. And in here, I could be able to call an SDK called the OpenAI NG. uh, NG, next
And this is the one
generation.
that's released couple of weeks back, right?
Yeah, they have the 120, so GPT
Yeah,
dash 4
128K
dash 11. So
context.
this one, using this SDK that is accessible through this coded automation, I could be able to use this SDK. Hold on, this. Sorry, the API is there, and then um, I will create. Basically, I have this models available, and if I use this, let's say I will use this coded automation where uh, it calls this low code. I'll just comment out this read input this one, so that it will just output the PDF text, and I will call this low code from here, and then I'll get the PDF text, and then I will use the service that I created and interact with the OpenAI service using GPT-4 1103 preview, which has 128K context. So that's around 300 pages of full page documents that you can feed in a single prompt, right? You don't have to worry about uh, cre- um, fetching the most relevant chunk. You can feed all of the contents of your document, whether it's the document, whether it's a web page, and how we are able to do that is by using coded automation and using an SDK to create this OpenAI service. And as you can see, uh, it. So this is the number of characters, right? This is 288,607 characters, which may not convert directly into a token. I think it's around 100K or 150K or 100K token in conversion. And then it will feed that into the GPT-4 latest model and then summarize it for you, right? So yeah, in here, yeah, it's already there. So this is the summary. So you're able to summarize that whole 50 page or 100-page document in a single prompt, including all of the contents of the document in the prompt, right? And we won't be able to do that if we use the older models, which are available on the native activity. So that's why we created this coded workflow, right? So another one I want to show you, promise it will be the last, is not only same service that I created, right? Um, I created an image generation using DALL-E 3, um, and then speech completion, right? So what this does is based on my input. Let's say my input would be. Let me just run this. So it will ask for my input, and based on my input, let's say a very concise input, let's say concisely describe an image you want to generate, and I will refine your prompt. So this will refine the prompt, meaning whatever input that I put here, it will refine it, prompt engineer it, and that engineered prompt will be fed into the DALE API that is also in the code and generate a high quality image, right? Create a futuristic looking robot, futuristic looking robot, let's say protagonist or something. So it will use that like sentence, like the very short sentence, re-engineer it. As you can see, it was fed into the prompt into GPT-4, and then this is the prompt, and it will create an image using DALE, and then there's I'm not sure if you noticed the speech capability as well. It will convert this refined prompt into a text to speech, so it can describe what it has generated. So it will open up any minute now. So this is the image that it generated, and I'm opening. It will open it. So yeah, it opened this, and then it also. I'm not sure if you can hear it.
A futuristic robot protagonist with sleek chrome plating and neon blue lighting accents. It has advanced articulating limbs, a humanoid body structure with a transparent chest panel revealing intricate circuitry illuminated from within.
So whatever the this audio was reading is the refined prompt from GPT-4, as well as the output of the image. So it's like describing this. And what are the use cases that you can do this with? Is you don't have to subscribe to the, let's say, websites that offer logo generation, or you can like edit your images, make it more high quality. So by just creating a prompt, let's say create a logo for my milk tea shop named um, blah blah blah, something like that, and then you can actually use this for your own personal use, as long as of course you have the the API available for OpenAI. So yeah, sorry that take too much time. Pradeep, do you wanna add anything else?
No, this was fabulous, man. That was good. So ChatGPT came up with all the structural body design, and that's a really awesome. I'm sure, just like I enjoyed this session, I'm sure our attendees have enjoyed too. I think that's a wrap. We'll wrap it up. We have a couple of minutes. We'll just stay on. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to chime in. Um, and we'll plan for some additional sessions going forward. I know this is month of November, and next week folks would be celebrating Thanksgiving. So a very happy Thanksgiving to everyone here who are celebrating or enjoying holiday time. In December, we do not have anything planned as of now. We are looking at availability in terms of what particular topics we want to capture. We primarily, what I'm thinking, Russell, we can after 23.10 release is done, maybe we can just do a review of 23.10 announcements sometime in
Mhm.
December, just to capture a high-level overview of new updates and what has changed from previous
Yeah,
versions, just to give a recap on new announcements.
absolutely. That's a great idea. And I really apologize. I had to breeze through some of the concepts or topics due to the timing. But yeah, definitely reach out if you have any questions on some of the concepts that we described. I didn't really cover much on the how to create that particular service and how you can register that service. There's really lots of things to learn in this area. So
Yeah. And again, with this coded automation is right now still evolving, so there are a lot of things that will come in as we move forward, as new recent updates come up. So uh, go ahead, get the latest download and experiment with these new features if you haven't tried them, and you'll really enjoy if you're coming from C# background, with the kind of features that you have now access to build automations, something very much similar what Russell has built. You can do a lot of integration with different platforms and APIs. You're not at the mercy of only the limited activities that are available in the low code platform. So that's where the power of coded automation lies in. And I'm sure we'll see many more interesting use cases.
great. Yep.
All right, folks.
Thanks, Pradeep.
Thank you, everyone.
And yep,
thanks for sharing your evening with us. And as I mentioned, recording will be available on the event page, and you will once the event wrap up is done, you can always come back to the event page and visit the recording. And like Russell mentioned, feel free to reach out to myself or Russell if you have any questions.
Great. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day ahead. Thanks
All
for
right.
the.
Thank you, folks.
Bye.
Bye.